Today, we're going to challenge a really fundamental fitness idea that, most of us think we have totally figured out: core training. It is absolutely time to rethink how we build a spine that's not just strong, but truly mobile.
So let's just jump right in with a story that gets to the absolute heart of the problem. Get this, a long-term, really fit client. We're talking someone with great body awareness, years of solid training under their belt, suddenly gets diagnosed with disc compression and a degenerative bone disease. It kind of makes you scratch your head, doesn't it? And that story leads us right to the big question that so many of us have. You're putting in the work, you're definitely getting stronger, but that nagging back pain or that stiffness that just seems to hang around, it just won't go away. So what are we missing here? Well, it turns out the common thread is this really persistent tightness that wraps around the lower back and the pelvis. And here's the really frustrating part. The very exercises we're told are good for us, squats, deadlifts, even just going for a run, can sometimes make that feeling of stiffness even worse. Okay, so to figure out what's really going on, let's start by tearing down the old way of thinking. Let's look at why that mainstream core training so many of us learned is, well, actually failing us. So there are really four big reasons this old approach just doesn't work. First, we're almost always targeting the wrong muscles, right? We're obsessed with a six-pack. And because of that, second, we're completely ignoring the rest of the trunk. Third, and this is a big one, we've been trained to think that feeling the burn means it's working, when that's not really a good measure of functional strength at all. And finally, we almost never train rotational or side-to-side movements. But think about it, that's how we move in real life, whether you're swinging a tennis racket or just picking up a bag of groceries. This slide just lays it out so perfectly. Look at the difference. Instead of just the six-pack, a smarter focus is on the obliques and this really important deep back muscle called the quadratus lumborum, or QL. Now, why the QL? Because it connects your pelvis, your ribs, and your lower spine. It's an absolute powerhouse for stability. So we shift from only bending forward to training in all directions, and we stop chasing the burn and start focusing on what really matters: function and control. Okay, so we've taken apart the old broken model. Now let's build the new one. It's time to redefine what our true core actually is. This is the big idea I want you to remember. Your core is not a set of abs. I want you to picture it as a 3D cylinder, a canister that wraps around your entire trunk, giving you support from literally every direction, front, back, and side to side. And this cylinder lets your spine do so much more than just crunch forward. It's designed for bending sideways, for extending backward, for rotating, and even for compressing and stabilizing your entire rib cage. These are the real movements of life that our training so often misses. So the star players in this whole 360-degree system are the obliques. They control all that rotation and side bending, and that deep, powerful quadratus lumborum, the QL, which acts like an anchor for the pelvis. Together, these are the muscles that are really in charge of your spinal movement. Now this is where it gets really, really cool. There's this incredible interplay, this dance of duality between your hips and your trunk. So when your hips and pelvis are moving, your trunk muscles have to lock everything down to keep you stable. And on the flip side, when your trunk is the thing that's moving, your lower body has to stabilize your hips and pelvis. It's this beautiful, coordinated system that has to be trained as one. All right, so the theory is all well and good, but what do we actually do? Let's get practical. Let's talk about the solution, a set of smarter, gentler movements that are designed to retrain this entire system. The entire foundation of this new approach is something called micro-movements. And listen, these are not about brute force or pushing through pain. These are low-intensity drills that are all about high awareness. The whole point is to isolate the right muscles, improve your brain's connection and control over them, and just gently figure out where your pain threshold is without ever blowing past it. So here's what a fantastic foundational routine based on those principles could look like. And notice the logic here. It starts with something like a hip 90-90. Why? To gently improve hip mobility before you ask the spine to do any heavy lifting. This actually teaches the obliques and the QL how to stabilize correctly. It builds that solid base you need for the more complex movements you see later on, like the half-kneeling side bends and rotations. So we've covered the why and the how. Let's just finish up by zooming out to the bigger picture here, the whole philosophy behind this way of thinking about training. Now, this is so important. While that routine is an amazing starting point, it is not a plug-and-play, one-size-fits-all solution.
Every single one of us is unique. Your body, your history, your specific limitations, they all require a program that's tailored just for you. This is all about understanding the principles, not just blindly following a list of exercises.
And this quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. The scope of training goes far beyond aesthetics and vanity metrics. It's so true. Training isn't just about how you look in the mirror or the numbers you're lifting. It's about building a resilient, functional body that can handle everything life throws at it and bounce back from setbacks.
So I want to leave you with this one question to really chew on. What if we just shifted our goal completely? What if, instead of always chasing a tough workout, our goal was to have an intelligent one that actually builds a stronger, more mobile, and more resilient you from the inside out? Just think about that.